After over 20 years as a clinical psychologist, I've realized that traditional talk therapy often fails BPD patients at the exact moment they need it most. Why? Well, because you can't reason with a brain that's redlining. So I developed the INNER protocol, which stands for Integrated Narrative and Neural Executive Restructuring, to bridge the gap between two things: your narrative, which is the story of your past, and your neural hardware, the biology of your survival. We aren't just calming down with this protocol. We're physically restructuring the hierarchy of your brain so that your internal CEO can finally take back the wheel. It's based on 4 phases that include 12 different milestones. Now, there's room for variability in terms of what's treated when. Nothing is, locked in or written in stone. But this is the overall plan. So phase 1 is called the archaeology of the narrative. So before we change the future, we have to perform a biohistorical audit. It's very difficult to change your personal narrative if you don't even understand how it was written in the first place. So I use psychodynamic interviewing to help us identify the thalamic gap. And that's the point where early trauma caused your brain's internal timekeeper to fail. This is why a trigger in 2026 feels like a life or death threat from your childhood. So in this phase, we move to milestone 1, which is depathologizing. So instead of labeling yourself as volatile or unhelpable or untreatable, I help you see how you have a high-performance survival nervous system running outdated software. Once we identify those implanted beliefs as foreign objects, we can move to stabilization. Phase 2 is the inner mechanism. So this is the 5 pillars. This is the core of the work. So when you feel that 0 to 100 shift, we use the inner steps as a manual override. So let's break those down. I stands for identify the trigger. So spot the physical ping before the emotional blackout hits. N is notice the biological state. So this is about checking your hardware. Do you have a high heart rate, shallow breathing? That's low vagal tone. It's a survival response, not a character flaw. The second N is neutralize with somatic grounding. So we use the back door here. Ice water, weighted blankets, or the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. We have lots of strategies for minding the gap, but we have to cool the system before the CEO can speak. The E stands for executive inhibition. This is the circuit breaker. So this is the moment you choose to inhibit the impulse. You create the space between the feeling and the action. R stands for rewire. So this is the long game. You'll learn to master techniques that prove to your brain that the new calm circuit is safer than that old chaotic one you've been running on. Phase 3 is editing the software. So once your CEO can interrupt the reaction, we edit the software. We reparent the younger version of you that created these protective behaviors. We move from survival 1.0, which is if I express a need, I'll be abandoned, for example, to integrated adult 2.0, where we can believe that my needs are the roadmap to my stability. So this phase helps you reach milestone 7, where you can set a boundary without your nervous system perceiving it as a death threat. That's a very important skill for people with BPD, because boundaries are often a foreign concept. Phase 4 is the fork in the road. So here we assess your baseline shift. If you can hit a level 8 stressor and return to calm within hours instead of days, your hardware is stabilizing. Now there are 2 paths at this point. Path A is for those who need more skills. So we double down on DBT to strengthen the parent self. Path B is for deep trauma resolution. Now that your CEO is strong enough to prevent flooding, we use EMDR to decouple those old body memories from your current story. If EMDR doesn't work for you, that's okay. We can find a different form of prolonged exposure. Now, the final goal of the inner protocol isn't just not being symptomatic. It's self-actualization. It's taking that high-performance sensitivity and using it as a professional and personal superpower. As I said, this isn't absolutely locked in. There's room for variability in terms of what parts of treatment occur exactly when. So together, we'll build a treatment plan that makes the most sense for your unique situation. But these are 12 general milestones that this program is based on, or this protocol. You aren't a victim of your biology anymore. It doesn't have to be that way. You're the executive. Now, if you want the entire protocol that details all 12 milestones, send me your email address and I'll get it sent over. It's just really a lot to do in a video. And if you're ready to start your own inner journey, please reach out to me to discuss treatment options.